Hello, welcome to the first in a series of 3 videos that we've put together on the subject of journals. This first video is going to give you an overall understanding of journals, the concept, and an explanation of the journals screen. The second video will show you how to create journals, and the third video will show you the various ways that you can review and drill down into the various journal entries. Okay, so to start off with, the journals can be accessed through the accounting menu. And you can see here we've got two options. One is a new journal and the other is journal list. I'm going to go to the journal list. What you're seeing here is a journal's example which we include with the trial data that we preload when you set up a trial company through the internet. Now, it's a good one to explain, so I'm going to start now. The journals list will show you a list of all the journals that you currently have, and you can either click on the journal link to open an existing journal, or you can click on the new link. Right, this journal has been given the name of Journals Example, and that name will appear on the journals list. Also, you can give the journal a title, and again that will appear on the journals list, and it's quite useful to have that facility as well because that is one of the sortable fields on the journals list. As far as the accounting period, this will default to the period as per the date that you're entering the transaction. One thing I would point out, if you want to create journals for previous accounting periods rather than the current one, you must go into Company, Periods, Accounting Period, and make sure that the default period tick here is in the accounting period that you wish to work on. What will happen is Amanda will not let you enter any journals unless you have the default period ticked. As far as the date is concerned, the date that the system will use to create a new journal will always be today's date, but you can change that as long as you're working in the current accounting period. If you've selected a previous period, the system will assume that the date of the transaction is on the very last day of the accounting period, but again that can be changed. The currency will always be GB pounds, and at the top here you will see a credit number and a debit number and a balance of 0. And what this means is that all of the records on this particular journal, they all balance, all the debits and the credits add up to 1600, and there is a 0 balance. And that's the position that you need to have your journal in if you wish to save it. So to look at the individual lines, first of all, this record is a single entry journal, and this is possible when the transaction does not attract any VAT. So for example, if I click on here, you will see that we've got a sum of £400 which has been transferred from the current account, which is 12110 as per the chart of accounts, to the deposit account, and obviously there's no VAT transaction on that, so you can do that journal on one line. This number here is the number of the journal and the transaction 1 with a sub-transaction, or sometimes referred to as step 1. So that means that whole journal was done in one transaction. If we look at journal entry number 2, you'll see that it's actually got 3 different steps here, and this is because that particular journal has VAT implications. So when the first line was created, a nominal ledger account of purchases type 1 was selected and VAT was involved. £1,000 was net of VAT. You can see there's some descriptive text gone in here, and manual, that state means that you entered the journal manually, and when we look at reviewing manuals in the third video in the journal series, I'll explain a little bit more about that. What happens when you create a line that does include VAT is Amanda will automatically create step number 2, which in this case is transaction 2/1, and that is dealing with the VAT. So what it's doing there, it's calculated the VAT and it has put the VAT into this debit account here, 21310, and if we want to find out what that is, we can just look at the chart of accounts, 21310, because I don't know if you noticed that Amanda wasn't going to let me edit that, because it is 21310, the VAT control account. So to go back to there, you can see there's the VAT element. Now in Amanda, when this journal is created, that record 2/2, that would have to be decided upon by you. So I should be able to get in here. And in this particular example, this payment for that transaction has been allocated to account 21110, which is a credit card, and there you can see the transaction total net plus VAT has been put in there, and the combination of those transactions make the journal balance, and that means that you can save it. Now, to explain this screen a little bit more, I'd just like to go through all these various fields. So this field here, it's headed up L. This will show you the status of the journals, and like other transactions that we have within Amanda, they can be draft status or validated status. Now the interesting thing about the validation process here, it's pretty much designed to cope with the Sarbanes-Oxley legislation insofar as the larger companies need to demonstrate an audit trail of approved transactions. So what happens with journals is that they start off at draft status and then they are independently validated. And the point to remember about validated and non-validated journals is unless a journal has been validated, it won't automatically appear in the balance sheet or the profit and loss account. You actually need to click on a setting in those reports, but I will show you that in the third video. As I've mentioned before, this is transaction and sub-transaction, so each of these has a number, date of the transaction, the debit account and the credit account, and remember only the one-liners can have both in one line, whereas for the VAT ones there will be separate debits and credit records as shown there. The VAT percentage, which you can change if you need to, and you can also say whether the VAT has been included or not. The debit amount, the credit amount, the description, the reference, you can put any reference on there that you like, and the state of the transaction. And this is whether it is a manual journal that you've created yourself or one the system's created for you. At the top of the screen we have the save option, we have delete, validate, set it back to draft, print or export. Thank you for watching this video. Please also look at the second and third video in the journal series to make sure that you get a full understanding of how to use journals. Thank you.